the previous videos, we mentioned about communicating research work, which is through the presentations. We mentioned about the suggested flow of presentations, which is made up of the introductions, experimental methods or theory, result and discussions, as well as the conclusions. It was mentioned that you will need to keep the entire presentations in the same things so that the audience stay focused and not deviated too far away from the purpose and the topic that you intend to discuss. There should be open questions to be answered for your research study, and you will need to provide answers to the open questions after you have done the results and discussions. We also mentioned about the limitations of presentations, which is rather challenging for delivering solid informations such as numbers and figures. Those shouldn't be your focus. You should focus more on something that can be remembered by the audience, which is more towards the principle based. In that sense, you do not expect you do presentations to deliver 100% of the informations from your technical writing to be incorporated throughout your entire presentations. This is not achievable. Even if you can achieve that, the audience cannot remember everything. Thus, it is not meaningful. Therefore, you should just focus on the most essential things of your research study, which is at the macro level, all the essential aspects to be covered, and the explanations should be in the layman term and principle based. The audience may not be able to remember the details, but they can remember the message as well as the working principles as presented during the presentations. Now let us proceed with the discussions on the preparations of the presentations. You know that presentation requires skills. There are many factors to consider for you to give an effective presentations, and a good presentations never come without proper effort. You will need to learn to do presentations, and you know that you cannot just read every single text in the slides during your presentations. It is not effective and not serving the purpose of doing the presentations. You know that other than the verbal presentations, which at the same time the gesture also provide additional information to the audience. There will also be interactions between the presenters and the audience in order to make the presentations to be more effective. Through the eyes contact, experienced presenter will know that whether the audience can follow the pace of your presentations or the audience has already lost during your presentations. With that, you will need to make immediate adjustment to fit the needs of the audience, helping them to understand your presentations. These are several group practice that you can do during the preparations for your presentations. You need to allocate appropriate durations to prepare your slides, and you should review your slides. It is suggested you allocate more than 1 week for the preparations of the slides and the reviews of the slides. If possible, you should have 95% of your slide finished 3 days before the presentations. This gives you some time to buffer your talks. In the case that you miss something, you can always add it in before the presentations. Sometimes you may find yourself overdoing the slides during the preparations of the presentations. With that 3 days times, when everything settles, you can come back and revisit the slides, do necessary simplifications for presentations. You will require adequate rehearsal, at least 3 times complete rehearsal of your presentations. Don't underestimate this rehearsal, as you are tuning the sequence and the amount of information in your slides with your verbal presentations. My personal experience, I will see myself doing some fine-tuning to my slides during the rehearsal until it comes to the most optimized situations. The slide and the verbal presentations are properly in line so that they can complement each other during the presentations. You will need to time the durations during the rehearsals, as normally there will be specified time allocations for your presentations. You should adjust your pace or adjust the amount of information to be given during the presentations within the stipulated durations given. This is also important, as the audience may not allow you to overshoot the presentation time given. This is also another importance of the rehearsal. Only after the rehearsal, you know that whether you can finish your presentations within the stipulated durations. And you need to adjust the pace of your presentations so that the entire presentations is at the consistent pace and finish on time. Make sure you fully utilize the allocated durations, as in most of the case, the amount of information that you would like to present are normally more than the durations of time that you have for the presentations. There will be process of optimizations, removing the redundancy, foregoing those which is secondary, and only focusing on the main points and significant part of your research study. And then you should get ready to answer the questions that may be posed by the audience, and should have the ability to explain to an average person. That means you will need to predict or consider the potential questions that may be asked by the audience and be ready to answer those. You would like to present yourself well prepared for the presentations to gain the trust from the audience, as well as good image in front of the audience. It is dependent on the significance of the presentation event, especially with the presentations with the examiners, such as the proposal defense presentations or the viva presentations. These are the two presentations where the examiners are those experienced examiners having vast knowledge in the field of study and most likely going to look into various aspects of your research. You will need to get yourself more well prepared. Under such circumstances, normally I will prepare another slide which is separated from the slide that I use during the presentations, just in case there are any of the predicted questions being asked by the examiners. I can straight away retrieve the slides, giving the explanations, answering to the questions posed by the examiners. I did this during my final year project presentations of my bachelor degree, my proposal defense and viva presentations during my master's and PhD degrees. I find it helpful for me, and if I manage to predict the questions, this can boost my confidence, where I have those slides well prepared, complementing my explanations to the questions being posed by the examiner in order to make my explanation more effective, so that I can answer the examiner with better quality of answers. As a result, whenever come to this kind of presentations, normally I will prepare two sets of slides. The first one is for me to finish my presentations within the stipulated durations, let's say 20 to 30 minutes. There will be another set of slides which I think of myself, what are the possible questions that may trigger by the examiner, and how should I answer those questions, and if I require graphical presentations to assist with my presentations, I get those graphical presentations ready. It may come to a situation that you prepared for so many questions, only little that can be utilized. This is okay with me. This is a strategy for me to overcome my limitations in terms of the times that I require to think about the questions and respond to the questions, as well as my limitations to speak fluently and confidently as a non-native English speaker. Imagine if I have all those answers well prepared, covering all the necessary components. During the Q&A sections, I will just need to focus on one thing: how to explain the answers that I have prepared in proper English. In fact, this kind of extra effort bring me a good impressions from the examiner, as I can see from the facial expressions by the examiner when I retrieve the files to proceed with the explanations to the questions being posed by the examiner. They feel impressed, they know that I come well prepared, they have better confidence that I am able to conduct a good research study based on my good effort put into the research. The following are some recommendations for your presentations, where you should turn the complex table into simple graphs. You need to simplify most of the things so that the audience can grasp the most out of the things that you have presented. You might need to condense each slide or section into basic bullet points. The writing shouldn't be too lengthy. For a broader coverage of the points, you can make them into bullet points with short statements and also the relevant keywords. You need to make the thing simple, avoid complicated jargons and methods for questions. You do not expect within a short time the audience is able to grab the heads and tail of complex things. And you should focus on the crucial parts or points only, not necessarily every single details. Details is something that difficult to remember. Even you presented them, the audience will not be able to remember that. You only present those which is necessary. This is the one that I mentioned just now, preparing two sets of slides, where the first one is the main slides, which is to be used for the preparations within the stipulated time, covering only the essentials. You will need to do a lot of rehearsal, fine-tune your pace, make your slides synchronize with your verbal presentations, and ensure they complete within the allocated durations. And this is going to be the main part of your presentations. And in the case that there will be Q&A sections, especially when you expect those Q&A is going to be of high quality questions as posted by the experienced examiners for your research study, you would like to make yourself more well prepared instead of doing nothing and then find yourself in the hassle, nervous, struggling to find the answers to the examiners. Personally, I dislike this kind of feeling. It makes me more nervous and I lose confidence, and this is going to be reflected in my gesture as well as my verbal presentations. I know my problem with the presentations. I might not be able to respond on the spot, especially the details. Even if I could recall, I might not be able to retrieve everything in thorough, which sometimes I might lose one or two of the essential points while I was trying to answer the Q&A section. To overcome this, I will prepare a backup slide, which is totally different set of slide as an addition to the main slides. If the information has already appeared in the main slides, I shall not put them in the backup slide. the backup slide, it will be providing those informations which are not found in the main slides. It provides the details of the entire research work, and it allowed me for a quick retrieve of the informations during the Q&A section, and it is designed to effectively answer the potential questions asked by the audience. You will see if you have this backup slide to assist you, the quality of the answers that you give to the audience will increase significantly, as in fact you took more time to design how you intend to answer the relevant questions more effectively. That means this backup slide is meant to spot the potential questions that could be asked by the audience. The utilization rate may not be that high. Probably you prepare more than 10 questions, there will be 2 or 3 questions being asked. At least you have those questions cataloged. There could be some conditions that the questions asked by the audience are beyond your expectations. That means you did not have those prepared in your backup slide. Then you have no choice. This can't help. You will have to try your best to answer the questions. However, the advantage of having these backup slides is that you have more thorough preparations. In the case that some questions is beyond your expectations, you have better understanding of your research work during your preparations of both set of slides, and this can indirectly help you in giving quality answers to the audience. Therefore, this will help you to be more well prepared and on the floor with high confidence, and you will be able to get good impressions from the audience.